Let's not screw this up.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. How
Oh
you guys
my
doing?
gosh, I had to take my apron off. I was helping the wife in the kitchen.
What the heck was that?
Hey, that's artwork. Okay. That's
You wear that in the kitchen?
yeah. That's all I wear.
Oh heck no. Oh man. All right, guys. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, everyone.
Yay!
That's right.
We have what do we have today? We're roasting an attorney.
Yeah,
personal injury attorney.
Florida, Orlando area, and then I'm going to take a closer look at the Hero, that homepage lander, and we'll clean that up. Give you guys some good tips on making it perform much better.
Oh, and then we will talk about your sentiment tool, right, for Tech Talk.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about sentiment a little bit today. We did cover it. I don't know, like back in, I want to say back in May or June.
Back in the day.
I think it was on the pet store episode. We talked a little bit about some sentiment and reviews. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that today.
It's the SEO turkeys. Who's this? SEO.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Who let Keith out of his cage? He needs his meds ASAP.
Yes.
Who is this guy? All right.
Just coffee. I swear it's just coffee.
All right, let's get going, guys.
Hey, GBP Roast, GBP Roast. Sorry, you in danger. Right now, I gotta flame you. This is GBP Roast, GBP Roast. On your Google business profile, it's about to go down. We roasting and reacting. We ain't come to play. 20 years in SEO. JP, Lambo, and Dre, bringing facts and guests. Oh yeah, we bring the dopeness. Welcome to the show. Hope your profile don't get roasted.
All right, let's go check out reaction video number 1.
Who are we going to yell at?
So how should you start doing link building when you have a DR of 0? You have a brand new website and you don't have a single backlink going to your website. Well, the number one thing that you can do at that stage is to not create a ton of content, because any content that you create when you have a DR 0 and you have no authority is not going to rank. It is not going to perform well. So what you need to do is you need to really focus all your effort on building site authority, your overall strength of your entire website. And you can do that with literally one page. Publish one really, really good page around one keyword or one type of linkable idea, and then just drive links to that page to lift the overall site authority. I've ranked entire websites that have just one page on the entire website, and I did it just through concentrated link acquisition. So this is the best way to do it in the beginning, because you're going to waste your time publishing a bunch of content that'll never rank.
Oh my gosh, this is the chicken and the egg. Do you need links? Huh? Or do you need content? Right? But I'm more the one that will lean to, you have to have the foundation first. You would be better off just publishing the content and then, hey, guess what? Just buy the links, okay?
Buy the links?
Yeah, I mean, most people have a pretty decent 5-page site from the beginning, so I think, it's complete kind of BS. I mean, yeah, in competitive markets, you're going to need links no matter what, but I just don't think that's advantageous advice.
Or I think maybe how some companies will put a bunch of content, build a blog, put out maybe 20 blogs at first, right when they launch a site. I mean, I think that's kind of the route like he was kind of talking about. Like that's something that you guys also kind of do preach, right? Like saying like, hey, don't just go out and put out like 20 pieces of content out of nowhere.
Every piece of content should have value. And in the local market, the ideal situation is to have an evergreen piece of content, right? You have that powerful pricing page. You have the powerful how-to. You got a DIY information. Even though you're selling the service, but you're still teaching them, hey, you can do it all by yourself, or you might get frustrated and just call me. That kind of content, especially with video and photos and slides and all that, it can certainly help, but more competition, right? Like the personal injury attorney we're going to take a look at later today, driving blogs, more expanded long keyword of pages. Yes, that can help. But guess what? You still need a couple links, and you can buy links. Don't tell anybody. $7, $6, $12, and that's all it takes, 2 or 3, just to say, hey, Google, look at me.
I mean, aren't citations links too? I mean, like the ones that you get from, like, let's say,
Exactly. Right.
this
You're
is the-
still going to get that URL brand link, right? The naked link or whatever to your site, or just to learn more. It all makes sense. So Steve Gotch is very respected. He's extremely knowledgeable. But sometimes, don't forget, influencers will say things to deliberately upset the apple cart, because that's what they're trying to do, is get a little bit of more attention and get that controversy and comments down below.
You mentioned brand link. What are your thoughts on getting branded links versus keyword anchored links, for like just those people that are
I think people need to, if you want to dive in a little bit deeper, go back, and around 2013, Google came out with an entity patent. That's where we kind of learned a lot about this stuff. That's why even just having citations alone can be so beneficial, because now, citations is kind of the new link building. So you don't necessarily even need to use an actual link, but links is the quickest way to validate something, because Google's always crawling. So branded links is always good. But I also want to kind of dive in and say, hey, we've talked about this quite a bit in the past when it comes to brands. Is if your name's ABC Company and you're a personal injury attorney, you probably want to have some type of association anchor, like ABC Company personal injury, as part of your brand. So you have some type of association. Just strictly brand links can help, but again, Google reads the anchors first.
There you go. All right, cool. Let's check out reaction video number 2.
Everybody's freaking out that AI is replacing the local pack. Take a look at these results. So you can see that instead of a local pack, you just have all these businesses listed here. So does this mean that that's the end of Google Business Profiles? There's no point in keeping Google Business Profile? Definitely not. The Google Business Profile is actually more important than ever. Where do you think Google's getting all of the data for these businesses? This is actually a moat that Google has over
Let me
other
tell you
AI
where they're
platforms.
getting it from.
ChatGPT, Claude, any of the other ones, all they have to use is like Facebook and Yelp, and that data is garbage. Business owners actually care about their Google Business Profiles, and they keep them up to date, and Google is doubling down on your Google Business Profile data. So 100%, we're gonna see this evolve, and it's gonna become even more valuable to keep your Google Business Profile up to date. Business owners need to know this.
Holy shit. Do you think that guy is selling a product for your GBP? Anybody? Hello? Yes, he is. So you know what that means? He is 100% dependent that his tool and his service and software is depending on the power of a GBP. But what is Lambo and the Professor JP? What are we discovering out there? It's really more about citations. And I'm not talking name, address, phone. I'm talking your brand, your company has been listed in a listicle or a top list or a comparison. That has nothing to do with your fucking GBP.
I don't know. JP, you had a different reaction, right?
I think that there's kind of this big consensus now, like that everyone's like, you need to rank for AIO, you need to rank for AEO, but they haven't really talked about the foundation of SEO. You're probably not going to show up in AIO if you don't have a foundation of SEO. So there's not really a way to like skip around SEO to like automatically start showing up in these LLMs. They're all pulling that data from somewhere. Back when ChatGPT and OpenAI first came out, they were pulling repositories from OpenCrawl. So in OpenCrawl, we basically dive into their archive and pull all the cache pages and cache content and basically build this giant library. Well, since they started doing that, getting subscribers, now they can pull data directly from the search engine. So now, again, having good SEO is always going to be the foundation of everything that you utilize, whether it's Google Business. If you look at every example that we've shown, every roast that we've done, I have always shown you guys an example like AI mode and AI overviews and what they're actually looking for. You can literally type into Google, hey, how did you get these results? And it'll tell you. So it's always going to be foundational that you have to still have Google Business no matter what, because that's how you're going to start showing up in AI. Now, how different ways to get there, manipulate that. Yeah, citations, press releases, there's multiple ways of doing it, but it's always going to be foundational SEO.
If you guys want us to do a test of not having a GBP and still trying to show up in AI overview, comment below. We'll roll that out over the winter.
Oh, that's totally possible. That's very possible. I mean, I know it's possible. I mean, but
Dear Bill Gates, we're very highly dependent on our Bing listing. Thank you.
but I'm curious. Like, let's say, like, so just for honestly speaking on this one, it's like
Sure.
basically just keep your Google Business profile updated and fully filled out, right? If anyone's grabbing any information from it, whether it's AIO or whatever, and it's still good practice to at least make sure that you are completely optimizing and filling out your GBPs to as much as you can possible, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
you got to have that core.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bit of a stretch to deliberately say these people in AI overviews on the Google SERP are because of the GBP. You know, there's a relationship, but I don't think it's as dependent.
All right, there you go.
Definitely the reviews pushing a little bit, right?
Yeah, I know. Merlina actually brought something up about he believes the posts are being pulled in, and servers. There's something.
Services do.
Yeah, services.
I'm not sure about posts, but services definitely do.
Yeah. Okay. He mentioned services. That's what I remember. Services, that if you fill it out, they'll pull in your services in there. All right. Cool. Let's get into our roast. Right? Yeah.
Smoke a turkey, baby.
Too early.
Happy Thanksgiving. When Joy Hawkins was on our show, about 6 months ago, we actually took a closer look at a injury attorney. Now we're going to dive in and take a look at another one, and it's kind of unique here because we see some, crazy things kind of going on the SERP. We do see some appearance on the map portion. So this is just looking Injury Attorney Orlando. This is this website, and pretty good overall, even though of course the reviews aren't there. Now remember, this is the view like if you're on a phone kind of a situation. What I wanted to take a closer look at is, holy crap. Everybody just look at the title and description we got going on here. This is the homepage for injuryattorneyflorida.com. We'll take a look at the CRO in Lambo's world, but let's just look at some of the technical going on here. Do we have some keyword stuffing going on, right?
Just a little bit.
What is your favorite stuffing in a turkey? My mom used to make oyster dressing stuffing. I think my wife is making an apple sausage right now. Right now we have injury lawyer stuffing going on here. But is it really holding her back? Not necessarily, right? We know that personal injury is extremely competitive, but the typical situation is, do you really have to mention Orlando a few times, right? It's only in here twice. We do have Florida. Remember, Florida is part of the she got an exact match domain. I'm sure Orlando was taken at the time. I really do like this. And any reason why you think that Lambo loves this portion right here on the description? Because it really acts like an ad, right? Yes, we have this, the near me, which, sorry, that's not going to help you, Tina, but this free consult and the phone number and mentioning a variety of entities, right? We love that buzzword in 2025. One thing I would do is I would try to move like the true call to action a little bit higher so it's not as buried in the description. Now remember, it's not really a ranking factor, but when you do a search online, let's see, like on this one here, you see how it pulls some of this information and it might bold or highlight. Now remember, this is off of a phone, so this is a different kind of a setup, but that's what's happening on the description portion. Holy crap. All right, let's take a guess. How many times do you think personal injury appears on the homepage? Anybody? 85 times. Holy free holy. And it's dominant also on these headlines, plus the word Orlando. Jordan, did you take a look? I didn't even search Orlando yet. How many times does Orlando appear? Holy
I
shit!
think quite a- it was
437 times.
400 times. Yeah.
Now
I wonder if she's in Orlando. I'm not sure.
maybe. Now, this is the reality. We have some meta going on here, right? We have a lot of technical things and, schema, etc., blah, 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 behind the scenes. This is the other thing too. I was trying to do my tool wasn't working quite well, but she doesn't rank as high on the organic side. And that's a place where you think, well, son of a gun, why is that, right? It's likely Google's kind of suppressing this a little bit. I think we found her on page 2, page 5 for a few things. We really can back off on this keyword stuffing portion. Google gets it, right? If anything at all, does she use the word auto? Only once, and it's in the description. Does she use the word like wreck? A couple times. It's once in the title, once there. Another good word would be like fall, right? Okay, whoa, so that's interesting. Only once on an H2. Slip would be another one. She says slip and fall. So those are the things that clearly this site is heavily focused on car accident and PI. And we got some mega turkey roasting here. This is a total coincidence. We did not pick this because of Thanksgiving, okay? I promise you. Jordan, did you want to drive
Yeah, we'll take a look at their maps.
Take a look at some stuff.
Yeah.
I've got SEMrush was kind of interesting too, looking at what's happening. Let me release the hounds here and get back over to the Jordan Meister.
So are you saying stuffing is bad, or from seeing what you saw there?
There's going to be a certain point where it's going to be overly done. This is the nice benefit though. Like if you look at SEMrush, she actually has a nice balance of anchor links and domains that are linking to her. So I think that helps balance it out. But I wouldn't be surprising that if you're going to redo your site, let's say it's a year old, 2 years old, do not do what Tina did. You're better off just to start with a better foundation for that longevity, because this is the reality. You would think with the amount of reviews and the links and the power. Now remember, it is competitive. Organically, that site is not doing as well, even though it clearly states personal injury Orlando over and over and over again.
Now, on the caveat, that's could be a good thing too, because she's primarily trying to focus ranking on maps, and she's doing a pretty good job ranking already, and also ranking in different AI. So there's Google AI overviews, and then there's Google AI mode. They're both a little bit different. AI overviews mainly shows up in the SERPs. AI mode is kind of its internal system to basically just use AI to give you the best results. If you guys have seen previously, I think this was back in around June or July, maybe even sooner, we showed that Google is even going to be implementing something that's basically allowing you to call now, where they're going to show like the top 3 results. It's going to get tied into your Gmail account, which your Gmail account should always have a phone number attached to it. I've already seen this in several industries, travel industry, where you can actually do a direct click to call. And what Google would do is will connect the call. They'll call you and then connect the call to the business. And we're already seeing things like that already. So in this particular example, she's already doing sounds like she's kind of focusing on maps anyway. So I'm not necessarily too concerned about her organic results. One thing that's really important too, especially in law, is you have huge like directory sites, citation sites. There's like, this is a really good one, Mediate. There's Justia. And she's showing up in quite a few of these kind of third-party lawyer related sites. She's showing up in the Chamber of Commerce, which Keith, he's a big advocate for chambers. So you'll see, as like when we look at some of the citations here for even AL reviews, she's showing up for accident lawyer Orlando, also personal injury lawyer, in just AI overviews alone. So more than likely she's getting a lot of that formulated into AI already because of her branding. So she's showing up a lot on those third-party sites, which is going to be Citations that we mentioned before. Even AI mode, she even will show up here as well. And one thing that was kind of interesting that I saw, like you'll see the Justia site, it even pulled up a knowledge panel result for one of the listings. So this was actually part of the citation. This is one of our competitors, but it was interesting that one of the citations actually was pulling up the knowledge panel URL.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something that you focus on. Maybe it's, maybe in another episode we can show you how to pull these types of panels. But one way to do it would be to go through Plepper. If you get that Chrome extension, you can actually pull this URL. Great job. I love seeing this type of thing when you see reviews from around the web. We've covered on quite a few episodes when we talk about brand gossip. So, we always think about, hey, we just need to rank on Google Maps. We need to make sure that we get reviews on there. But the more you have people talking about your brand other than just Google's ecosystem, the better off you're going to be. So the fact that she has Facebook and people are engaging her Facebook profile, that's huge. Probably something that she's missing. I know Dre's a big guy on when it comes to video. I would probably start doing some more video since you're using TikTok, which is primarily video. YouTube, I would focus on being able to, do more video. I'm not sure what her channel looks like. Let's take a look. So she's got a decent amount of videos.
Really important too is most people, when they hire an attorney, the user, so the person, who you are, they want to have that connection, meaning they probably will hire of a similar cultural, a similar background, similar connection, right? Similar age. So when you can just speak and be who you are naturally, that'll then help you connect more with those types of clients.
Yeah. Kind of diving into the actual map results. You're going to see most of them. If we went down through Darren's list, and from White Spark, business name has always been kind of a primary thing for me. So you're going to see it pretty common, especially in personal injury, that more than likely most of them are going to have injury in the name, accident, obviously attorney or lawyer.
Yeah, she's clearly got that. Her name, her business name is really nearly perfect, right?
Yeah.
Because it's Tina Willis, that's who she is. Then she uses that combination of accident and injury and attorney. The one thing she's not mentioning is Orlando, but then that also allows her to reach a greater metro market.
Yep. Also too, this is a pretty cool tool that Plepper has, and we talked about this on a couple episodes ago. You can actually click on this export and it'll give you kind of a breakdown what those search results are showing: business name, average rating, how many reviews. It's no surprise that the top guys got almost 16,000 reviews. Most of them all have personal injury lawyer as part of their category, but interesting enough too, they still have quite a few results that are showing that even have other law firms attached as the primary, not even necessarily as the main service. So I highly recommend using this tool. It's a good kind of analyzer tool to kind of see what the top 20
Yeah, nice.
results are doing. But yeah, I think overall too is when we look at let me jump into AI mode. Let's do personal injury lawyer.
Let's roll the dice, baby.
Well, let's take a look and see what we get. So we got, that's the number one guy. And unfortunately she's not showing up. Now these results again could be showing up a little bit different. So I might see something different if I was actually located in Orlando.
Yeah, I did, using the isearchfrom.com, I did get some different results, but the reality is the map is pretty strong. It's
What about her videos? If you click on short videos, I wonder if does she show up if you like on the tab there? Where you were just at?
Right here.
Now, if you go back to exactly before you, there's a on the top part where it says AI mode, all short videos. Her
short videos.
Yeah, is her videos on there?
One right here. That's on TikTok. So I would tell her just keep pumping up your Instagram, your TikTok. I mean, she's got another one here. It looks like TikTok are the primary ones that are showing up for her.
So she should focus on that platform, dominate this part.
Yeah.
And some people just may not have the right personality, but we also know that there's some AI tools that can make you cool, right? Who's to say that maybe I'm not, or just a robot and Keith's sitting over there in his pajamas, with the controller.
Yeah. Also, too, I want to kind of reiterate, and we're going to talk a little bit about this in Tech Talk today, but overall, the good things about what she's doing is all of our clients are having a pretty good experience overall. The reviews too, if you see these pop out, these should be matching what your kind of primary service is. Semi trucks, I've seen quite a few videos just doing a couple searches with her. She talks about semi truck accidents. Seems like that's kind of a big thing with her. Slip and fall. So, always take a look at kind of what these bolded text are for your own reputation, because that's going to give you kind of a good indicator, what people are talking about when it comes to you. So if you don't necessarily focus on accidents, car accidents, you're getting a ton of kind of reviews about that. I mean, maybe make some adjustments. Just make sure that you are getting those reviews that that people are actually able to share that. Also, too, there's talks about people, the Google's launching something where reviews could be anonymous. I haven't seen an actual announcement from Google yet, so I'm curious to kind of see what's going to happen there, which could be good because a lot of times for personal like HIPAA compliance, things like that, a lot of people aren't going to share, their personal profiles on Google. So
thank you, Tina, for getting me off of my driving while intoxicated when I was in Orlando hanging out with Jordan and Dre when we went to the Animal Kingdom. I didn't mean to steal the zookeeper's van. Right. Anonymous.
Check out our next segment here we had going on here.
That's when you could use the Lambo's World. La 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 Lambo's World. Lambo likes conversions and SEO too. That's Lambo's World. We're going to take a closer look at the homepage for Tina and just sort of clean this up. I mean, clearly we have some serious issues going on, but this is what it looks like now. Lots of words, lots of info. We do have some weird things going on here. I'm assuming that this could be like a tool or something that's just not quite functioning. But I want to also show you there's something really subtle here. Let me grab my crayon. You know, Lambo likes his crayon. Do you notice this is a great photo, right? And who wouldn't want to work with an attorney, smiling, happy? Like there's lots of good things going on here, but there's a real subtle situation. I always talk about when you have a photo, it's nice to have them looking possibly either at the headline and the text or even at least towards this. But notice the shoulders, right? They're angled away. So that's really subtle, but that's something to really think about, that if on a redo, if you flip that in, if you flip this around, it's just going to make her more connected directly to the messaging. So this is just a slight variation of selling her, right? You always want to be careful with the, the we, right? We're so awesome. We do all these things. When it's better to be like, hi, I'm Tina, right? And I fight for you. So this was an idea for a headline, and then really just getting to the point, right? Car accident lawyer in Orlando, recovering millions. Remember, showing benefit, right? Hey, you might want to stick around on this page. And then quickly just breaking down, these are the things that I do. Because remember, you have no idea how the person ended up there, but you're most likely going to want to tie that in quickly, right off of the service area. This caller text, it could be certainly better. One thing with someone will think about right away is, well, why? Why should I call you, right? And the recovering millions, this could be tied in as more beneficial. Like don't panic, call today. We're here to help you. So working with the dev, this area could be improved upon. Always be thinking too, guys, about the mobile view. Here it just says call. I do love this messaging, which means it's always free. What that does is that really separates you from everyone else. I know it's as simple as saying, well, it's free consultations. No. They're always free consultations. So maybe that gives it a sense of exclusivity. No one else does this. And the reality, though, is because it's tied in with the phone number, I would definitely look at indicating 24-hour, right? Just have that. Because remember, on a phone, this might be locked up here the whole time, but people don't necessarily see this, right? They're distracted, they're looking at other things. But if they'll always see your main header, give them the why, and then even add a little color to this so that it really can be seen. General overall, this is enough, right? You don't want to oversell it. You just want to quickly, right, in 10 seconds convince someone, hey, I have recovered millions. This is what I do. Always free consultations, right? Tie that in down below. And then even given the independence to leave the site, right? Or go to another page on the site to look at the reviews. Lots of other problems here, but that's pretty much what I wanted to focus on, was just the hero portion itself in the old Lambo's world.
Cool. You know what you just kind of brought up? I feel like sometimes you can even think about your hero image or graphic to like resemble a thumbnail, right? A YouTube thumbnail, because what you mentioned is like usually you're trying to drive direct, your attention to a certain text or anything like that, or grab the attention of the audience. But I guess it doesn't have to be like.
Yeah, come on, let's stuff a microphone in our mouths. Everyone, let's do the thumbnail photo.
All right,
there we go, perfect. We'll use that later.
Let's check out our next segment.
Yeah, we're going to play some G&Bs right now.
Let's go.
How we do it. Alrighty, so we're going to be diving into some sentiment today. So when we talk about sentiment, what do you guys think of sentiment?
Usually
bad,
how the
emotions.
layers of geology, like with sandstone and
Yeah.
slate, the sentiment.
No.
You're talking
Oh,
about cement.
No, sentiment is small particles that are coming in from water flow, but that's a different
oh,
type of
not
sentiment.
sediment, sentiment.
Sediment.
Oh, I'm totally off.
So sentiment, just think about kind of the best way you can think about is the mood of content. And so basically, when Google came out, it was quite a few years ago, they came out with part of their NLP is sentiment. So it's basically what they did was, what's the general experience that a user will have when they read the content? And it's usually basically based on binary. However, there is a neutral aspect of it as well. But binary would be yes or no. So the yes, they had a positive experience. No, they had a negative experience. So typically, when we look at reviews, reputation is always the biggest thing. Is one, people want to have a good experience when they come to your site. So Keith really shows that he's probably one of the best words person I know when it comes to conversions and CRO. Is the content that he writes, it's always very like welcoming messages. So think about if someone's visiting your site, they should feel like at home, right? They should feel very welcoming when they read your content. They shouldn't be put off by it. So that's another thing too. It's like you got to be careful what you write for. If you're writing for something that's really going to trigger someone, they're going to have a bad experience and ultimately leave the page. Google, at the end of the day, they're all about consumer confidence. So Google's protecting consumers. So if a user is going to have a bad experience with a personal injury lawyer, more than likely they're going to leave a bad review. And why would Google recommend a company where people are having bad experiences with, right? So you always see like in forums and Facebook groups, hey, like my content's the best. I have, 1,000 reviews, and then you go and look at the review rating, and it's like an average rating of like 3 stars. It's like, yeah, but the service you're providing overall is really shitty. Like people want to have a positive experience. So a couple of things you can do before we kind of dive in and analyze this a little bit more is, if people are leaving reviews, maybe go back to them. And the most important thing you can do as a business owner is correct the problem. So if you do find that, hey, they had a terrible experience, working with you at your law firm, it's going to be a little bit tougher because, especially when it comes to law, for personal injury, their business model is getting a percentage of whatever the fee is. So if the insurance companies are going to pay out $100,000, most personal injury lawyers are taking like 50 to 60% of that. So keep in mind too, is like when you want to make sure that, people are still leaving positive feedback. The star rating, when we look at overall star rating, that's basically the validation point of what that review sentiment is. So what that mood is. So for example, we've done a couple of tests over the years and we left 10 one-star reviews, but the content in the review was extremely positive. Right. So you can still have positive sentiment in the review and have a 1-star. Maybe someone messed up, because it used to be you had to like slide across the reviews, and some of the UI with leaving the reviews was a little bit tricky. So imagine if someone left you really positive reviews, but for some reason it shows up as a 1-star.
Yeah.
What do you think that's going to happen to your overall experience? I'll ask the audience. I'll ask both of you.
Not going to be good. I mean, this is the reality. Google wants to rank the businesses that are most likely to make people happy. So if there's a happy tone or happy star rating, you would lean that way, right?
Yeah. So I've seen it firsthand is you can still rank something that's going to have an average rating, let's say of 3 stars or even 2 stars, but you're not going to get to the top and you're not going to show up in the AI overviews, unfortunately. So even though you had a positive sentiment, the star rating is actually what helps validate that overall sentiment and that overall mood. So it's kind of like you can think of it as the user had a positive experience and it shows based upon the actual star rating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I built a little tool. It's called Review Neuron. It basically, you can use this for content as well, but I'm just going to show examples for the reviews. So I took
Review.
a review from Tina's law firm. It
Yeah.
was this: after my semi-accident, law went above and beyond. Put the content into the review and then gives me these numbers of sentiment. So basically what this means is overall, this reviewer had a positive experience with this law firm. Now, analyzing this, they have something called POS, which I'm going to explain it to you. It's parts of speech. So there's ways that you can make something sound really good. So, for example, if someone writes, Tina's law firm was very good, that's always going to have a positive connotation. Very doesn't necessarily mean, it's kind of a neutral word for
Right.
that. It could also mean, so if they're typing in Tina was very bad, very still going to still have that same kind of neutral number, but because there's bad that's tied to that, it's going to then have a negative connotation. So and by the time this review gets put in, because they put, hey, Tina was very bad, it's going to probably show a negative sentiment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's good to kind of understand, like, think about our English language. Like, there's different ways to say certain things and have meanings, and that's what the purpose of Google's AI is, and BERT and all these different algorithms that they have is they're trying to figure out what the intent is of those words. So if we look at multiple words, like these are the words that are in the review, Google's actually breaking apart every single word piece by piece, and then using things like adjectives and nouns and pronouns to basically find the actual meaning behind that.
Okay.
Okay. Then we have other things like which we talk about, BERT, Movera. So Movera, you can think about kind of the overall, like, kind of the intent of their, basically the words that they're using in the review. They reached out to this law office. They went, above and beyond. They were prepared. So just think about, again, this is a little bit tricky because you can have a really positive experience,
Right.
and maybe you just don't have the way to communicate that in your review. So you could still say, hey, like, you could leave a 5-star review and say, hey, like, I had a pretty bad experience when I first talked to the technician. He was really late when he came out. So even though you have a 5-star rating, you could still have a negative sentiment, a negative mood behind it.
Mm. What do you think on the reverse side? Because I've gotten a pretty positive sentiment, but with lower star ratings.
Yeah,
before.
and that's one thing too. That's the example that I gave. Like, you could have very positive sentiment and still have like a 1-star rating.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is like, and I tell people this too, like, just because you had a 1-star review, you always want to kind of read beyond the 1-star. There could be, a lot of content, a lot of descriptions within, a lot of times when people are leaving 1-star reviews, they're writing like long paragraphs.
Yeah.
There was another
Or you-
example. I took this from a competitor. This was the worst experience I ever had. But imagine if they said, this was the, one of
Best.
the greatest experiences I had choosing a personal injury lawyer. It just so happens that when I chose this company, they just didn't do a very good job. Like, that's still kind of positive tone, but the
Yeah.
overall star rating is still a 1-star.
I could see too. I mean, I know I've done this where you use a negative word, but you're phrasing it to help set up a positive experience, right? Like, oh, it
Yeah.
wasn't that bad, or could have been worse. And you're like, oh, wait, you just said bad and worse in your review.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, you could see it's like even some of this analysis, like these are some pretty negative connotations. Worse service, let the time pass, only cares about money, not about clients. Like, those are some kind of negative ties into that overall experience.
Yeah.
Which in this one, like, if we look at for Tina's, for this, positive feedback. It's like went beyond, over and beyond. Like that's kind of a phrase, like you went beyond, over and beyond
Right.
to give them a great service, right? So unfortunately, like this isn't stuff that you can really necessarily teach a customer. Like, hey, can you just make sure that you use like positive adjectives and positive nouns, and like make sure that you're using things that I did go over and beyond. Like you can't really teach that, right? So again, it's helpful because there's ways, like a lot of this, it's word psychology. There's things like this that you can put into your own website, so if you're not seeing it in the reviews, you could still bring in a positive experience to the client, to the person
Yeah.
who's possibly going to use you. So don't think about just sentiment just in the reviews, but kind of every piece of content. Now, even when we do video shorts, AI's search engines are actually picking up the words that we use. So making sure that we use, positive things even just in our videos is also going to help too. You always want to stay positive, always stay positive. So it's you just have to make sure that, the words that we're using, has positive intent, right? So
Good. Good is good, bad is bad. What's the status with your neuroscience tool? Is it testing in beta or?
it's in beta right now. So I'm trying to do something where I would like to make it for grabbing sentiment from like a piece of content on your website. And then also to being able to pull all of the reviews from, not necessarily just from Google Business, but pulling it from Yelp and other sources too, just to kind of give an average sentiment. So if you have, let's say, 10 reviews, seven of them have 5 stars, 3 of them have kind of 3 to 1 stars, and
Yeah.
kind of taking the average of what the wording is and kind of finding meanings of what the negative reviews are showing. And so you can kind of have a visualize idea like what people, how they're interacting with you too.
Definitely could see people scanning 5-star, 4-star reviews for negative sentiment, and then maybe asking the customer, "Hey, could you use the word good in the review?"
All
Cool.
right. Sounds good. Get to our
Nice.
last reaction video for today.
Oh, who's it gonna be? Do I need my red wig? Huh?
Just going in and updating the categories on your Google Business Profile could be effective for a single point business, but can be massively effective for an enterprise business that has thousands of locations. So a lot of times the people like us that work with these enterprise businesses, it's less about, hey, what's your content strategy and how's the architecture look and what technical SEO stuff can we do? On the enterprise side, it kind of flips more to being more about the multi-location aspect, where now you have both Google Business Profiles for all your locations, and then you're going to have a location page on the site for every location, and potentially sections of the blog for each location. And the thing that I like to do is try to figure out ways you can make your time more efficient and more effective.
He kind of jumped around. He started talking about categories for enterprise, and then he started talking about content. I would say, obviously, if you're a restaurant and let's say you're a Chinese restaurant, then you probably there actually is a category for Chinese restaurant for your Google business. So you probably don't want to just choose restaurant. And then obviously your validation point with your content on your location pages that's why we teach GeoHub. You can basically stuff in as much information, entities, different words, sentiments, as much as you possibly can into that page. That all kind of ties into your business profile.
What are your thoughts on, because he mentioned like how if you're nationwide and you have like different GB profiles in every state and stuff like that. So should each state have its own page on your core enterprise website or your enterprise site, or is that something that is best?
Yeah, I
practice to
definitely
do?
would. I mean, because if you look at Starbucks, I mean, they have it
Mhm.
kind of broken down by, state, location. They have like a 3 to 4 hop URL structure. So it'll say like Starbucks, service locations, California. So, definitely want to do that. Just make sure that when you're using multiple hops in the URL structure, that you actually do have content on those internal pages.
Yeah, I didn't quite follow. I mean, I thought we were going to talk about categories, but then he's talking about, well, then if you have thousands, and then I'm like, okay, so what's the point? And you're like, didn't really make a point. At least I didn't follow like where he was going.
Yeah, I might have cut out the front part to give it context, but
Here's the reality, kids. If you have
locations, multi-locations, yeah.
If you have 100 locations,
Yeah.
all your categories should be very similar.
All right.
That's the
Yeah.
bottom line.
Yep.
All right, that concludes our episode for today. Great, lot of information shared. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
I gotta get back to the kitchen. The wife is waiting for me. So there's all the I gotta cut the carrots, I got the celery, got the stuffing. There's so much to do. So you guys have a great turkey day. We'll see you next week. And Jordan and I are gonna line up some fun stuff for Christmas.
There you go. Yep. Be sure to
Just
check
not
that out.
that.
I'll see you guys. Oh, that's freaking nasty, dude. All right.
Hey, GBP Roast, GBP Roast. Sorry, you in danger. Right now, I gotta flame you. This is GBP Roast, GBP Roast. On your Google business profile, it's about to go down. We roasting and reacting. We ain't come to play. 20 years in SEO. JP, Lambo, and Dre, bringing facts and guests. Oh yeah, we bring the dopeness. Welcome to the show. Hope your profile don't get roasted.